I uploaded it to VO3 and I said, can you make this a video? And it kind of scared me because it looked so real. I start to think, could this be a new product that I can offer clients? You know, I can turn any photo into a video now.
Welcome to episode 2 of The Creative Cut. I'm glad you stopped by. Today, I'm actually with my good friend, Kendrick Mills from Earthwalker Media. You've seen him on this channel before. We've done a lot of work together. We both actually used to live in Florida and did all kinds of projects together. Now we both live in Indiana, the Hoosier State. And recently we jumped on a call to talk about some topics that are very relevant to filmmakers, photographers, people trying to get started on YouTube. And this is our conversation about AI. Is it coming for your job? Is it going to replace you? Do we even have a chance against it as filmmakers? Or is there a way to leverage it to make a little bit of extra money for your business? So stay tuned for this conversation. Lots of good stuff. Let's get into it. What are your thoughts on AI and everything going on recently on the news and stuff through social media? What do you think about that?
I think that it's cool, and I think there are ways we can use it to help our lives and our businesses and things like that. But I don't think it's like a full solution yet for at least like video production and what we do. But it's crazy because it's almost like a gold rush kind of. And I think that's what's fun about it, because Google just dropped VO3, a month ago. And that was basically, you type in something and it spits out almost exactly what you want. And I think that was a game changer because you just saw so much AI content flood YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and all this stuff. I think the worst thing is you can't tell anymore what's real and what's not. And I think that's going to start to irk people in different ways. And I think that's the worst part about it. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely have some mixed emotions. I mean, it's definitely a really cool thing to see, how it's developed like so quickly in the last few years. But I think, it's one of those things where it's coming whether we like it or not. I mean, it's already here basically. And so I don't know. My perspective is, we kind of need to just take advantage of it and find ways that it can work as a tool in our tool belt. And be something that we can, introduce to our workflow. I don't want it to necessarily overdo and overtake what I'm already creating, but I don't think it's going to come to that. I mean, I feel like it'd be a while before people are like, we don't need video production companies anymore at all. I mean, like live sports are always going to be a thing. They're not going to replace that with AI. So, I mean, I think there's definitely limitations to it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think, I've used some of these tools and I've, because as a creative in general, if you're telling me I can just type something into a website or a search engine and it pops out almost something, that I can use or I want. I took some just portraits in the backyard yesterday. It was just like, I haven't taken portraits of myself for a while. I gave my wife the camera. We went out there and we just took a couple just for like, you have to get that stuff updated sometimes so you can use it in marketing materials and other things like that. But I took one of the photos that I edited and I uploaded it to VO3 and I said, can you make this a video? And it kind of scared me because it looked so real. And I don't even know. I typed in maybe 2 to 3 sentences. I didn't even get that concise with the prompt, and it still spit out something where the camera was like moving side to side, almost like sliding, and I was looking at it like smiling and like shaking my head, and it was like I'm probably gonna pop the video in right now, like what I did, because it's just unreal. Yeah. But
no, that's insane.
Yeah, so but I'm thinking, in my head, like I start to think and go down these rabbit holes where I'm like, could this be a new product that I can offer clients? I can turn any photo into a video now as a service. I can type in something like any kind of plant, and I can get a shot of that plant just next to a white wall. I can do 10 of those and put it into a pack and sell it on Etsy. I mean, there's just my mind is just going crazy with all the applications that this is going to basically unlock for us. And like I said, I mean, VO3 just dropped in either July or June. It's July right now. Like, it's so fresh, and you almost don't want to like miss the boat on it to an extent for like ways to make money or use it in your business or use it for your clients to benefit them. And so that's kind of where my mind's at. It's not about just like, you know, ASMR slicing fruits and stuff. It's like, how can I apply these tools to help my clients grow their businesses, help myself grow my own business, and all those kind of things. So it's definitely more than just Chat GPT now. It's getting crazy, and I'm here for it a little bit, but I want to learn it as it comes out and not fully use everything yet, but just use what I can and what I feel like is going to be some unlocks for people around me.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a great way of putting it. I was listening to a YouTuber recently, and he kind of made a good point how, you know, back in the turn of the century when cameras were becoming a thing, like that probably blew their brains, you know, like all they could do was paint, you know, whatever they could do, and they had to make it as realistic as possible. And all of a sudden here comes a camera that, you know, within a few minutes basically can recreate what would take them, you know, day or days. Right. But painting didn't disappear, and photographs obviously took their own route. Paintings still have their own, and so it kind of helped me see, like, in a way they're still their own category, and they'll never really cross. I mean, yes, they're going to mix in some ways, but what the guy was saying is that I wish I could remember his name, Andrew something, was that basically when photographs became the main source for capturing realistic images, painters didn't necessarily have to create realistic paintings. They could do more impression and impressionist type paintings, things that just kind of, you know, scenes that made them feel a certain way, but it didn't necessarily look realistic. And so it kind of opened up a whole new category of art to some degree, because they weren't having to just create it to be as realistic as possible for, you know, all of time to remember. And so comparing that with like AI versus what we do with just through video creation, I think it's still going to hold its own. And obviously story is the main thing. And AI can create a story for sure. But I think the human element is where, you know, AI just is not going to be able to compete with. And so that gives me a little solace, I guess, in that, okay, it's not something to be afraid of. It's something to definitely incorporate and use, as long as I'm still trying to make sure that I'm being, you know, human creative in what I do to produce content.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's two sides of the coin. There's one side of the coin where it's like, let's use this as a tool. Let's figure out how it can, you know, speed up certain processes that take forever, that are just like mind-numbing tasks, like adding text to a video or subtitles, or like, you know, writing a description on some copy. You know, if, you know, you can get the script to a video and then you put that into Chat GPT and it can shoot out a blurb. That way people know what they're about to watch or whatever. Like little things like that are, I think, really good things with AI. But then you have the other side of the coin where people are true artists and they think that it's just coming into their space. And, you know, whether that's music or, like you said, paint, like actual art, because you're not going to be able to define each, to be honest. Like, I'm even, you know, delving into the 11 Lab stuff, which is, you know, text to speech, which is insane. And you can even clone your own voice. So, I mean, the possibilities are just like absolutely endless with this stuff. And I think that I'm somewhere in the middle, because I don't want all this stuff to take over real art either. But I also think that we can use some of this stuff as tools, like I said, to help us free up time and maybe make money or whatever, you know. So I don't know. I feel like 50-50 on it. And I think that's how I'm always going to feel about it. And that's just, yeah.
I think regardless, it's pretty insane that it's more or less free.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's services we can pay for, but the fact that we are at this point in time where we can like just tell it to do whatever we want and it'll create it for us is pretty wild. It's pretty insane.
Yeah. So we'll see how we feel, you know, here in 6 months or a year or something like that, how it's affecting our businesses. Like you said, I don't think it's going to directly affect businesses in the sense of, you know, shooting videos for local businesses. I don't think it's there yet, right? I mean, unless somebody that works at that local business is just a guru with AI and they can figure out, you know, how to create an entire brand video, you know, more power to them, because I think that's going to be more work probably for that person than to have somebody like me or you come in and shoot a video interview, shoot some B-roll, you know, create an actual brand video for them that's real, and then they can utilize that content in all these different ways. But we'll see, you know, we'll just kind of see how each other feels about it in 6 months to a year. We'll have this conversation again and see where it goes.
I don't do a little check in and a little pulse check. See
We'll
how
both have like our videos will be completely AI, and like we'll just be typing, and we won't even like be actually talking, and I'll be like just sipping coffee on the couch or something. You'll think it's real me, but it's not real me.
Yeah, this entire conversation is fake in 6 months.
Yeah, but trailing on what you just said, like a lot of this stuff can be free, and it can be, or for low cost. And so you need to figure out, do trials of these things, right? Like see what it's about before you just totally write it off. I used, like I said, I have 11 labs right now. I have a pro version of VO3, which is Gemini, which is just basically ChatGPT for Google. And so it's been helping me in different ways that I don't want to just say everything right now, because like, it's not that it's secret, but it's like, kind of my workflow, and I'm trying to figure that out. But there's definitely some benefits to, spending like $10 or $20 on some of these things for a month, testing it out, typing different things into it, seeing how, it can flush out ideas and images, and like we can do an entire storyboard probably for a client through Gemini or ChatGPT by filtering, the prompts through it, and be like, this is how I expect this first shot to look. It's a, interview shot that has this framing and this lens and all this stuff. So I know people have been doing that already, but it's just, you can use it to your advantage in different ways. And like you said, like even the free versions you can do a lot with. But my recommendation to anybody who's never done any of this AI stuff, go ahead and do a free trial of something. Just see, what it can do for you in a month, and then you can get out of it. It's absolutely free. It's not going to be free forever. And that's the kicker. Yeah. This stuff is not going to be free. It's only going to go up in price. So you might as well just try to get used to using these apps and see what works for you, and see how you can use them in your business moving forward, for sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of these businesses are definitely still in like a beta 100%. Testing stage to some degree, as far as even seeing what people will pay for, what people will subscribe to, just on a consistent monthly basis. And I've been wanting to try out Envato Elements AI feature they have now, which I think is like $16 a month or something. Okay. And it's just another, AI engine that they're, as just a kind of resource for creators, they're trying to jump on that train a little bit. So, I'm hoping to test that out soon and see what that's made of. But yeah, it's pretty wild stuff. I mean, it's insane how even, excuse me, like 5 years ago, maybe there was like talks about it, and just how far it has come and become just part of our conversations in every area of life, just in the last few years. It's definitely a crazy time.
Yeah, it reminds me of one conversation I had. It was however many years ago, maybe 8 or 10 years ago, and it was when the portrait mode was added to the iPhones. Somebody that I like was in my family or my friend group or something looked at me and was like, "You're going to be out of business. You're not going to be able to do headshots anymore." And I looked at the image. I was like, I think I'll be okay. Like, it wasn't that great. It was just because they could do the blurred background now. And like, the blurred background has like made so many of us money in the video production space, because that's genuinely, you could call it cinematic, but that's the difference between shooting with something like an iPhone or whatever, or shooting with, the gear that we do, is it makes it look cinematic. It blurs the background. There's depth of field. And so, like I said, it just reminds me of that time where it's like, oh, AI is going to come for your job. It's like, this time I genuinely think it's going to come for some people's jobs. And maybe that's a good thing, because if you're doing something that's like just so mindless, maybe that's not what you should be doing for your entire career, right? If you're just... Right. You're probably not happy if you're doing the things that AI is going to replace, at least initially, or robots or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? Like putting something into something over and over for 8 hours a day. I don't think anybody should, want to do that. Not saying that I want people to get their jobs taken by AI, but it's just, one of those things where, but I'm still here shooting headshots 10 years later. Yeah. So that's all I have to say as far as, there's a specific feel and, deliverable with a headshot that an iPhone can't give, and it's never going to be able to give. And I'm not saying you can't shoot good photos with an iPhone, but if you really want like a professional headshot, you need to find somebody that shoots professional headshots.
I hope you guys found this conversation with Kenrick and I encouraging, not just helpful, but encouraging. I want you guys to not lose heart. AI is not going to replace the human element that is inside you, okay? It's a robot versus human intellect, human creativity. So find ways for AI to help you be more efficient, to take advantage of some of its tools, all while still being you and creating content that's coming from within inside you. Okay? So get out there, take those videos, take those pictures, keep posting to YouTube, build that business, and don't lose heart. Stay encouraged. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you want to see 10 things I've learned in the last 10 years as a filmmaker, watch this video here. Please consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next one.